Hi, I'm Paul Shire, and welcome to DeliverySafe Insights, the watchguard for your package deliveries. The last mile of the supply chain has been a hot topic for companies like UPS, Amazon, and FedEx, as well as thousands of retailers. Now, how do you get the trucks and drones and through the maze of traffic and city buildings? And the most efficient way to get Americans their goods is a massive challenge. However, once those packages arrive at the door, there are several other problems that can arise before they're received. Here, we're calling that the last foot of the supply chain. To delve into this problem of the last foot and how to solve them, we have the world's leading authority on package theft, Dr. Ben Stickle of Middle Tennessee State University, and DeliverySafe co-founder, Mike Vig. So Dr. Stickle, what is the last foot?
That's a really good question, and it really hinges off this concept that we talked about, and you mentioned already with the last mile. So generally the last mile is the idea that there's lots of steps that a package or any type of item goes through to get to its final location. You have to ship it from the factory, and then sometimes you have retail establishments and all these steps, as you mentioned, to get it actually to the customer. And so the last mile is really the time and space it takes to get that item to an actual individual. And what we've come to realize is that while there's lots of research on this, lots of discussion about how to do this, you mentioned drones and other things of this nature, what's really missing from almost every discussion is what happens during the time that a package or an item is left at someone's front doorstep or at their residence and until they actually receive that package or item and safely take it inside. And what we found is there's really a lack of any knowledge or research or any addressing the issue of things that can go on the front porch. And as home deliveries are increasing at just a very rapid rate, and we're having all manner of things delivered to our homes that we didn't used to have, including groceries and well, almost anything that you can buy online is now commonly delivered to the house. And so there's really this gap of knowledge and addressing some of the issues that occur there. And so really when we talk about the last foot, that could be obviously more than a foot. And what we're really addressing is that time and distance that the package takes to make its final journey into the hands of the customer. And so if that package is left there for a few hours or even a few days, that would be included. And if the package is delivered to the side or the front porch or somewhere on the premise, it's intended to be delivered. And in most cases, the last mile of the supply chain would say, well, once it's at your house and on your property, it's done. Kind of wash our hands and walk away. But this is where we see a lot of real problems come in. And so this concept of the last foot was really developed to try and address what goes on the last amount of time, the last distance it takes to get a package into the hands of a customer, undamaged, safely received.
Yeah, very interesting. So categorizing really, it's part of the last mile, so to speak, but it's that last foot of the last mile. And we've seen research where 43% of Americans have been victims of package theft, for example, and this crazy uptick in online grocery delivery and things like that. So things are arriving at the doorstep everywhere, and even for businesses as well. All right. Also, in your piece, you talk about the risk and losses of the last foot. What are the risk and losses?
So I think this is an emerging topic as we have more and more items that are shipped to our homes, different types of items, different values. The risks and the losses are increasing and they're kind of changing in some interesting ways. So the first one that's really obvious that we think about a lot because it's the news media a lot and it's all over social media is the issue of theft. So porch pirates or porch piracy, that's certainly an issue. And it's an issue because it's a very simple and easy crime to do and it seems to be increasing from what we know about it. So you have a package that's delivered or packages to someone's home, and it's very easy. Someone's driving by, walking by, sees there's packages on the front porch, can easily just walk up, pick them up, and walk away. There's no special skills involved, no special technique that's needed to do this. And this is a very serious concern because this is, as I mentioned, easy to get into, easy to get away with. And so we are seeing an increase in this, and it's really impacting customers in very significant ways. So theft is very clearly something that needs to be considered when we talk about the last foot, the amount of time that a package may spend at a residential location before it's actually taken inside and fully completed and delivered. But that's not the only risk that we have as well. We also have issues with weather, and this comes in multiple forms. If you're talking about food delivery, for example, and you leave a package of food on a front porch on a hot day, especially in some parts of the country, it could lead to spoilage of those food items. Of course, that can also work in the other direction as well if you have extreme cold. And then another aspect we haven't looked at a whole lot is looking at rain and wind. So if you have a package that gets blown over, the items inside may break, or they might get rain soaked and it may destroy books or any number of items that are sensitive to that. So basically, any type of weather issue that you have can affect packages as they're left on the front porch. And then one final thing I think that's worthy of noting is really some privacy issues that we have with this. If you think back to, again, the traditional way of shopping, you go to a store, you buy your goods, you bring them home, you take them in your house, your neighbors have no idea what you've been out doing. But as we have more and more things delivered to the front porch, it becomes more and more obvious whether you're home, maybe what time you get home by the volume of packages that are delivered to your front porch. It also becomes obvious to your neighbors where you're buying your products from, or in some cases, what products you're actually buying. So if you're concerned at all about privacy of these items, and that's certainly something to consider as well. And so when you consider the privacy aspects, the damage from weather or even from animals, and then include the human factor where we may have packages that are stolen, it begins to get not only very risky, but potentially very costly for really everyone involved to deal with these things. And so finding a solution to that last foot is going to be something that's absolutely vital as we move forward and as home delivery just increases over time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And, all parts of the e-commerce puzzle are important. And it seems to me like perhaps one of the biggest things being impacted here is customer experience and how much that might have an impact on e-commerce in the future. So I know in your paper you kind of lay out some of the issues that are related to customer experience. Do you mind expound upon them here?
Yeah, I think customer experience is something very important for especially retailers to consider. So everyone knows we want a positive customer experience. And in the day of brick and mortar stores being king, that was very clear and very obvious. You want a nice parking lot, a nice entryway, maybe an employee that greets you, a well-lit, attractive store. But with home delivery, this is entirely shifting. And in many cases, the only contact that a customer has with someone who's selling something is going to be the point when they actually receive the item. And so all of these things actually matter. And if the only point of reference they have with your company is a negative experience, such as an item that's damaged from weather, or it's stolen, or your neighbor now asks you why you're getting this type of medication, this can have a very negative impact, we feel, on customers. And they may have issues with the brand. And so, that's really something that needs to be considered because this is becoming perhaps the only link that you have with your customer, the actual item, but that time between when it's delivered and when they receive it, the condition in which it's delivered, and all of those things is very, very important. And I think oftentimes the reputation of the item is, even if it's a delivery issue, even if the package is damaged in transit or when it's there, it gets wet or something like that. I think most people are often attributing that to the actual retailer. And so that's something that everybody should be concerned with, not just those who deliver the package, but also the retailers who are shipping them out, because they want to make sure that they build that brand value and that awareness, and that their customers ultimately are satisfied with the product. And it's kind of the seen and the unseen, right? So no one really thinks through the process it takes to get a package to their house any more than they did how it used to get to a store. But you want to make sure that that's a good experience for the customer. And so this is something that really everybody in the supply chain really needs to begin to think about and address, because having one person try to address this really won't solve the problem. Just developing maybe more stiffer legal penalties for this isn't going to address the issue either. We really have to think about this again from the supply chain and include the last foot if we're really going to tackle the problem and help the customer feel satisfied with not only the experience shopping online, but then actually receiving the item in undamaged and good condition.
And I believe you also get into in your paper how the problem is actually trying to be solved. And various companies are at it and various solutions that have been put in place to try to solve this problem. Can you provide an overview of that as well?
Yeah, so again, with any emerging problem, there's multiple different solutions being tested to try and address this. Some of them probably work better than others. And so we've seen a lot of things done to try and guard against, primarily looking at package theft. But again, we have to consider holistically the other challenges that are addressed in the last foot. So it's not really just about theft, although that's very important. So we've seen people install signs and cameras. While those have some value, they don't actually prevent anyone from actually stealing anything. And in fact, the first research study I did on this, I used all videos from package theft. And so it didn't seem like it had any impact at all. Other things that could be done, some companies are installing an ability for a delivery service to open your garage, your front door, or even the trunk of your car. And again, this may answer some of these questions, but also opens up a significant amount of concern for liability. So what happens if a delivery company comes to your home and opens your front door and slides a package inside and the dog escapes? And there's just a number of things. And one of the studies I did found that people generally are not very trusting of this technology and would really kind of shy away from that. Other alternatives are having packages delivered to maybe your place of work. And again, I'm seeing a lot of really media reports saying that apartment complexes and other buildings and workplaces are just overwhelmed with packages and telling their residents and even employees, you can't send your non-work related packages here. So that's becoming a real strain for some folks as well. We also see some things such as parcel lockers, and especially in the United States, as broad and diverse as it is, what has to happen is someone generally has to travel out of their way to go to a location to receive this package. And so while again, that may have some limited benefits, it seems to really impact the convenience of receiving your packages. And that's a really important aspect to remember because I think at the end of the day, as I described earlier, people want to go online, purchase their items, get them not only quickly, but also undamaged and in one piece and with the least amount of effort on their behalf as well. So if they're having to drive 4 or 5 miles out of their way, stop, go inside of a building to then go to a locker to receive a package, whether that's a post office box or some other type of service, that's probably very inconvenient. And convenience is really a factor that is very high. Most retailers and others know that. So, there's lots of different techniques that can be used, but ultimately, I think a lot of them fall kind of short of the holistic thing that's really needed to address all the issues that I've discussed so far.
Right. Yeah. And convenience is why we shop online, right? And so for it to be inconvenient at the last foot is not the ideal outcome for most consumers and businesses as well that are shopping a lot increasingly online. Well, thank you, Dr. Stickle. I appreciate really that nice sort of breakdown of the research paper that you just published called The Last Foot. And for anyone's watching, that's going to be available. We'll make it available in our notes somewhere or uh, reach out to us if you cannot find it. But I think it's well done. It lays out the landscape of the issues surrounding the last foot and starts to stir the pot, so to speak, put it out there, make it so people can start to have a discussion about how to solve this problem. There's going to be a number of companies that will try to do that. So in fact, we have one with us right now, DeliverySafe, and we have the co-founder, Mike Vig, with us. And Mike, thank you for joining. I see you have a DeliverySafe next to you. What is the DeliverySafe and how does it solve the problem of the last foot?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I appreciate the question. And Ben, great speaking with you today and having you here today. All of your research that you just published is amazing. It's great to finally have something bring this big problem to light. And I think, it's really showing that there's a need for solutions in the marketplace now to address the last foot. Paul, to answer your question, the DeliverySafe is a lockable insulated delivery box for receiving package and food deliveries to homes or businesses. It offers the flexibility to securely receive merchandise, online grocery, and meal kit deliveries. And as Ben mentioned, package theft and loss is not only a huge issue that's impacting many consumers, but also is significantly hurting the bottom line of many high volume shippers. As a lockbox, every DeliverySafe is built with an outdoor rated digital entry keypad with a commercial grade lock. And all DeliverySafes are extremely durable and made with weatherproof materials to protect items from sun, rain, and snow. And the great thing about this is it gives consumers a convenient way to guarantee that they actually get what they pay for when ordering online. And again, as Beth said, that's been a huge issue for people. The DeliverySafe is unique to what else you might marketplace as more of these products are starting to come to light, in that the DeliverySafe is insulated with a really well insulated interior and accessory ice packs to help maintain temperature for grocery and meal kit deliveries, reducing the risk of spoilage.
Great. Yeah. So it sounds like you've covered a lot of the bases to all the problems that are out there, from package theft, weather damage, and then really dealing with grocery spoilage as well, and even meal kits and things like that. Who is the buyer?
Yeah, that's a great question too. I mean, DeliverySafe was founded to provide people with peace of mind, knowing that their deliveries are safe and fresh on their porch or driveway. For me specifically, living in Chicago, I had always been having issues with rain and snow, things always getting damaged when, I would come home from work at the end of the day just with wet, sopping packages on my doorstep. It was terrible, just an awful experience for me. But honestly, the DeliverySafe is, great for anyone who receives deliveries to their home or business. More specifically, the DeliverySafe is a must-have for Amazon Prime subscribers, Instacart users, Apron customers. Most often, these people are located in urban to suburban areas across the entire country.
Really, more or less, anyone who's receiving packages on a regular basis is going to be interested in this type of solution. Because if it's not package stuff, it may be weather damage, and then ultimately just protecting packages from the elements is what a mailbox does, right? And it seems like this is the sort of natural next version of the mailbox, or the modern day mailbox, if you will. So thanks for that. You have the DeliverySafe right there. Do you mind giving us a demonstration?
Yeah, so first, before I too quickly, DeliverySafe is designed to give users complete control over accessibility with an easy-to-use digital lock system. So the user or owner of the DeliverySafe can program who has access and when. It's really easy to use. Users simply set the code on the keypad and provide it to their delivery drivers via online delivery instructions. In maximize adoption, we founded DeliverySafe and launched our first model, making sure that it could be with all delivery services and be super easy to use. It uses simple technology to minimize the learning for not only the consumer who owns it, but also delivery drivers as well. And let me show you how it works. So once you have your keypad set up and everything ready to go at your home, the DeliverySafe is also great because it comes with all the hardware and everything you need to anchor it to the ground and really make sure it's secure at your home. But the materials are durable, it's weatherproof, insulated, and super simple to set up that passcode for the first time. So once you get that passcode set up, you come to enter your code in the digital keypad on top of the safe. It beeps and unlocks, and then really easy to pop open, grab your packages out, and close it for your next delivery. So really simple, easy to use, 3 to 4 seconds to type in your code, open it and grab your packages. Again, it's super easy for you as the user, but also really easy for the delivery drivers too. It doesn't add any additional time for them to make their deliveries.
Wow, yeah, so that looks like it's super easy to get set going. And how many packages does it hold?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we first designed the DeliverySafe to be large enough. As you can see here, it's pretty good size, but it was first designed to be able to hold at least 3 to 4 standard size Amazon packages. Obviously those vary for people depending on what they're buying, but it was definitely designed to be large enough to hold multiple standard packages that would be coming from Amazon or UPS, someone like that. And then the other piece is on the grocery side. We designed it for an average family of 4 to be able to get a full grocery delivery on a weekly basis. So think, between 4 to 5 bags of groceries fitting inside, and then being able to fill the entire DeliverySafe and stay cool and insulated all day. So again, we not only thought about it from the angle of just everyday packages that people have coming at higher volumes today, but also from the side of people getting groceries delivered to their home now as well.
Great. And will you be offering multiple sizes for different needs and different size families and businesses and things like that?
Yeah, our plan in the future is to continue to expand the product line. Today, we are only offering a large size, which is the size here next to me, which comes in just the standard version here. And then also you can add additional ice packs to add hours of cooling performance as well. So our standard size model is the large, and we will definitely offer more sizes for different footprints in the future.
Great. Thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate that. So, this is our overview of the last foot, this emerging problem in logistics. We think it's a problem that is important to delivery companies, retailers, consumers alike. And it's certainly a problem that is emerging and being solved by some folks. And as Dr. Stickle was talking about, there are various ways it's being solved, but it looks like this lockable package delivery box is really coming up as the clear way to do it. And DeliverySafe is the leading company really in the market right now. So that's why we had co-founder Mike Vig with us. And so thank you, Dr. Ben Stickle. We really appreciate it. You can check out more of his works. He's really the leading authority on package stuff in the world right now. I don't know how it makes you feel, but it may not have been where you thought you would head, but he's been out there on Good Morning America. He's been publishing and doing a lot of speaking around the country at various conferences. And then Mike is up in Chicago with the DeliverySafe folks out there, and they've launched the product. It is getting sales and people are liking it. It's got a very high rating that I noticed. And so this is going to be interesting to see how this unfolds over the years, a couple years to come. But thanks so much for joining, and we will be following up with more content on the last foot for sure.